In a world where nuclear war has begun, vampires fought back in super real 3D.
There's two different types of shots you want to make sure that you're always getting whenever you're doing your filming. And this is for controlled filming. If you're doing live event filming or something, then you're going to do the best that you can. You have them do takes over again when the people can, but it may not be realistic. But in a controlled environment where you can have people do what you want them to do, you're directing it. You're actually telling people to do their takes, calling action and all that jazz. You want to make sure that you're getting your wide shots and you're getting your tight shots. Now that's very simple, that's very straightforward, and a lot of people probably have already told you that. But I want to explain the concept a little bit more so you can carry it forward as a mantra. You know, things change all the time when you're collaborating with a client. Something about the location might change, something about the prop that's there might change, and you have to have them do a completely different action than you had thought in your mind if you have drawn out a shot list. Even when you're making your shot list, you want to be keeping in mind your wides, your tights. Now, what is a wide? Where's the line drawn on what a wide shot is? Is this right now a wide shot? This is kind of considered, this is a medium shot. This is a 50mm lens put on here right now. This is basically a medium. But if I was filming somebody do something, like let's say I was like building a clock or something, I'm just pulling that out of thin air, I would consider this the wide shot. You're always just thinking about wide, tight, tight. And you want to start with wides because you want to see what's happening. You want to get an idea of what's off with the overall room, if there is, or the mannerisms, the physical actions. You want to get them to do it right in the wide shot, and then that way you know that you're trying to repeat the one that worked, that felt natural, that looked the best. That's what you're trying to now repeat into your tight shots. You always start wide, you work your way in. My philosophy here is that basically anytime that you are filming something that can be filmed tighter, consider what you are filming a wide shot and plan to get a tight shot following that. Now, if you're already doing something crazy tight, you're on a macro lens, or you're already doing a shot on an eyeball, then that means that you don't have your wide shot yet. So go ahead and get your wide shot as well. Now, if you know for sure in your shot list that you definitely want this very specific thing, awesome, you got it. That's fine, don't worry about it. You've already figured it out. In fact, you probably already kind of planned this out based on a rhythmic pattern of wides to tights in your shot list, thinking about how it progressively pulls the person in or how you've established something and then went there. So you probably already got that written in already. You kind of have a different wide concept to begin with. But I think people think that they've already got a tight shot a lot of times if they got a wide and then like a medium wide. And I wouldn't really consider that a tight shot yet. I would consider that like, you know, you still need to get in there and get something that's super tight. And you're gonna find that the super tight shots are gonna be like your bread and butter to be able to go to cover up edits, in particular with dialogue scenes where continuity issues start to happen. You have to have a super tight shot to cover up that the water bottle just moved out of the, you know, shot in the background or something like that. Because you could, you know, if it's at a restaurant or whatever, like you go to that tight shot and then it's like you make a sound effect and it's a waiter moved it or whatever. You could, a ladder's gone all of a sudden, you know, you go to a tight shot, you put in a sound effect of a ladder falling, you bounce back to the wide, it explains what happened to the ladder. So you're covered your butt with the tight shots. You can also always get B-roll shots. That's super valuable. I should probably add that. That is the third, but I'm trying to make this the two main things is wides and tights. I would say the reason that I'm sticking to my first concept of calling this two shots you always have to get is that even on your B-roll choices, get a wide, get a tight. So that B-roll stuff being the cup, the hand going on the cup, the mouth with the cigarette, or whatever it is, a million different things. If you're inside a car, you know, it's the hand that goes on the steering wheel or turns the you know, the volume on the old AM, FM radio, whatever it is. It's still wides, tights, regardless of the type of shot. So just keep that in mind as you move forward. You will come out of it every time with an amazing edit, because even if you're doing a shot list, that's what you're gonna do anyway. If you have to come up with stuff on the fly, just wides, tights, but consider what you're doing right now. Can I film closer? Okay, then that means that's your wide, all right? And if you wanna get two different types of wides, that's fine. Just make sure that you also get that tight shot, because the tight shots in general, you can do those, execute those a lot quicker. I don't know what it is about, like you always want to do your wide shots first, that way you can get the actor comfortable, figure out the pattern of movement, figure out your marks where people are going to start and end things and where the camera is going to end up, if there's any movement to the camera or if lighting changes or if you're pulling focus. All those things need to be figured out on your wide. You will want to do your wide first every time you can, and then move tighter, and then if you want, even tighter. This is a 50mm lens right now, just to give you some scope of an idea. I don't know if you're familiar with lenses or not, but 50mm is considered what the eye sees. It's not supposed to have distortion one way or the other. Things below 50mm, that's gonna be a decompression, so it's slightly more exaggerated with like this field of view that's a little bit wider. And lenses that surpass, like that go past 50mm, that's longer, you're starting to compress the image, and that is unnatural too. It's not like what the eye sees, which is why it can look so magical. And one last thing I want to throw in about wides and tights is you can move a wide lens in close, you can move a wide lens far away for your wide, but a wide lens can be a tight shot. A whole different feel when it comes to a tight shot if you keep it just to wide lenses, and there'd be a reason to do that based on the story, what you have going with the other shots. And a long lens can also be a wide shot. It can be actually really awesome to do that if you have the space. It can be really hard to do that. In a small room, you can't do it, but if it's a large facility, it can be really, really cool, and it can really accentuate the objects of the room that you're wanting to accentuate, like framing the people in it. It doesn't have to just be a tight shot. When I say long lens, I'm really talking about anything like kind of past like an 85 mil, but if you go into the 135mm territory, or you get like a 70-200 and go to 200mm, I mean, that is going to be something that your client cannot achieve with their phone. It's always going to be stand out to them as being like, wow, that looks great. 6K is amazing, or whatever it is. They're just going to think it's a resolution jump, but really, you know, the detail is like, yeah, it's because there's a really long lens on there and your phone can't begin to do that. So it looks like you're a complete pro immediately when you put like a 200mm lens on there and just get right up on it. I had an amazing 180mm Nikon lens that I had with an adapter, and it was a macro lens, and man, I would use it for so many things. I would use it for portrait shots, but it fell into the water with my red. There's an episode about that, and that was like devastating at the time. That lens, well, the red came back, the lens did not. It was definitely, it's broken. I don't have macro lens at the moment, so that kind of sucks. But anyway, you guys are gonna rock it. Get out there, get your wides, get your tights. And if you're super curious and want to nerd out, this is the Canon EOS R5C. It is my newest camera. I've had it for 6 months now. And the exact lens that I'm filming on right now is the 50mm 1.8. Just that, yeah, we got it for on sale for $150. It still pulls off pretty good. I mean, just to have a lens with autofocus on it, that's a 50mm and does well in low light like this at 1.8. I think I have it at f2 right now instead of 1.8, but you know, it can do all that. It's got the autofocus on it, it's light, it was cheap. I could buy another one if it broke. And it's the Canon EOS R5C is filming in 10-bit XFAVC right now, 4K, actually UHD. So it can still produce a great little image, I think. I mean, well, hopefully this interview came out okay. I haven't really gotten to proof check it, but we'll see how it color grades out. All right, guys, I'll catch you on another Rough Cut with me, Ash, around the corner, hopefully. I do want to talk more about my project that is out. The episode 1 is out of Cue the Muses, and that is the grandest artistic adventure I've ever pursued. And it is music, it is movie, it is, well, it's a show, and then there's a whole album revealed through it, and it is my band's album, so super close to home and to my heart, and wrote the script and all that stuff too with my buddy Dick. He's the guitar player that I team up with to save the world from whatever it is that we're saving. You'll find out in the next episode. All right, catch you guys on the next one, guys. Peace.
In your words I can hear an ocean. In your touch I can feel